Hi, welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff Hall. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Welcome to part 2 of my chat with Celia Pacquola. Let's jump straight back into it. I wanted to ask you, Celia, about your relationship with health and fitness over the years. I'm really curious because you were on the same season of Dancing with the Stars as my husband, and Ed said no one trained as hard as you.
No, mate.
And you are so dedicated. And I thought, I reckon she trains every day or something. Like, what's your whole thing about now?
Not anymore. I miss it. So
okay,
my body changed entirely. I felt like an athlete. I loved it. I was so fit, but I got injured and I got taped up and I had physios coming to give me stuff. It was the best. I really felt like an athlete, but and it just made me go, oh, anyone could become a action star. You know, when you see them, you're like, with their incredible bodies, and you're like, yeah, that's someone who gets up every day and their whole day is doing that, because that's what it was. It was, I woke up every day and I danced every day. Turns out doing 8 to 9 hours of cardio every day for 3 months changes your body. So it was absolutely incredible, but obviously not sustainable. I mean, apart from anything else, as soon as the season finished, we went straight into lockdown, which sucked. So it's the fittest I've ever been in my whole life. I had all these new outfits that I wore on the couch.
And you won. You won the
season.
And
I won, yes.
Yes, you did.
Ed and I will both contest that Claudia Carvin was robbed, but it's her own fault because she didn't have an Instagram account. That's why. Yeah.
You won fair and square, Celia. You did an amazing
I think
job.
It's like I think you know this as well. It's like I think I won because I had the biggest journey. You know, because I'd never done anything like it before. I wasn't fit at all. And I totally went all in with extra stuff too, like setting myself, I think I was 37 when I did it, the challenge of being able to do the splits by the end. I didn't need to do that. That was a ridiculous thing that I just said. Oh. And I pretty much did it. Can't do it anymore, but I pretty much did it. So I really, for me, generally over my whole life of fitness, I'm not very good at it. But when I have done it, I really like it. I went through a period, maybe it was after lockdown, during lockdown. Well, it's called EXO is the place that I would go to in Richmond, which is like F45 thing. And I loved that. I need to go somewhere and have the fitness happen to me.
Yes.
Otherwise it's not going to happen.
Same.
People go, oh, it's so convenient. You can have this thing and do it at home. And I've downloaded and I try them. But I need someone with me. I need to be in a class. And I found they were great because they were very varied and hard, but with enough rest. I liked them a lot. Like I did those Les Mills ones for a while as well, but I found them very boring after a while.
Yes.
It was
repetitive.
Very samey. Anyway, so I liked that. I liked feeling strong. And then for a little while I ran for a while and I really enjoyed running. That was when I was dating Dara. There he is.
Oh,
bye.
Yeah.
He's going to get the baby from childcare. Because he ran, and just to impress him, I ran 10K. Oh, I ran a half marathon once.
Oh my
around
goodness.
the tan. Just to impress him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I really liked running. But that's the one thing I can't. Since the baby, my hips have been real bad, so I'm not. So now I'm doing Pilates, which wasn't a thing that I'd ever tried. But basically, I would like to be more. I know that it's. I feel better when I do it, but it's just finding the time. It's just finding the time.
Your life is hectic, Celia.
It's really finding the time. Well, because it's the easiest thing to. It's the same with meditation. It's the same with reading a book. It's the same with anything that comes down to being stuff for you. It's the easiest thing to cancel.
It is. It's so hard. I get it. And you mentioned your hips, and you do change physically after you have a baby. There's stuff that is never quite the same. But you mentioned mental health. How do you look after your mental health? I think that's really important for people to understand, because you just can't give that away, because then everything falls apart.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. If you keep doing that, you can do it. You can get by for a certain amount of time to be like, okay, well, I'll skip, someone said this. It's about what you do most of the time. If you can just keep it just mostly. I'm always doing walking, like things that I can do, but I'm not doing as much. But how to look after my mental health? Look, there's a lot of different things, which is a big thing. I will just say I did a documentary called The Truth About Anxiety, which is I think on SBS, which is one of the things I said when I did it was I wanted it to have actual practical stuff in there so people would have a look at that. But for me personally, like a few things, I've accepted that it's something that I have to manage because that's when it's gotten the worst is when I've gone, I'm cured. And then I stop doing all of the things and it gets bad. So it's accepting that as much as it sucks, it's always part of who I am. And so to be on top of it all the time, even if you're in a pretty good place. Yeah. Combination physical stuff is great, as we really know. Even even if it's not a workout, if you're just feeling terrible, just breathing, shoulders back, just doing something physical, cleaning the house, just doing something rather than just sitting in it when the rumination is bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's a combination of things. Talk therapy, writing things out, but trying anything and everything. Something that works for you won't work for something else, and something that might have worked for you 5 years ago doesn't necessarily work now. Also, family time's been really good for that as well. I had no idea what was going to happen to me when I had a kid mentally. I was really expecting postnatal depression, but spoiler, I got postnatal anxiety.
Oh,
it was a real shock. I was really expecting to that because I have a history of both, but no, it was the intrusive thoughts. It was the worst case scenario that they're going to be hurt or die, just like the panic and the mania and the stuff. But I've got everything's a lot better with that now. But I find it's really good for my mental health just being with her and having play with her and family time away from that really does help you be in the moment the same way that exercise does or meditation does. It all seems to be about being grounded in the moment and however you can do that. This is also another one where art comes into it, that flow state. So it's the same way that you might be distracted because you're lifting heavy weights or you're listening to a song you really like, or for me, it's writing. If I'm really in the groove, when time goes like that, which I think so just getting in the flow, whatever helps you get there, whether that's painting or drawing or dancing or running or whatever it is.
That's such good advice. I haven't heard of that before, the flow state.
Well, that's what people say, but that's because that's in the stuff part of that in the documentary as well. As it's like for art therapy, it's just getting out of yourself. I also heard this other thing but which I've been trying to say to myself is getting out of my own way because I have such a loud inner monologue. And I know it's trying to help. That's another thing. Some people have different ways to approach their inner voice. Like some people like to pretend it's give it a silly name and make it small and so you can laugh it off. And that doesn't really work for me. I have to try and remind myself that it's trying to help. So it's not, but it's trying to help. And I just try and go, can you just get out of my way? If I could just get out of my own way, let's just get that, just put it there. Because I feel like when you try and stop it completely, you get more upset to just go, I see you.
What you resist.
I'm not going to listen to you. Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah. So my last question, everyone sees you on telly and you're so successful, Celia, and you're like such a cool girl. Like just everyone's cool girl. Everyone wants to be you and you're juggling all the time. So I just wanted to ask, how do you juggle it all? You're a mom, you're on telly, you're a stand-up. I mean, you're doing so much. You're writing, you're hosting.
I mean, you just
what do you do? How do you do that?
You juggle. Like I think that's really. I think
just get good at juggling.
Like, well, you just do it because you just find a way. It's like before I had a kid, I'm like, how are people doing that? And now I see people with 2 kids, and I'm like, how are you doing that? And it's just because you just do. Because you just have to. I mean, my partner and I, you just use all of the tools that are available to you. If something's genuinely not going to work, then it wouldn't work. Like if I wouldn't have done Thank God You're Here if it wasn't possible, if we couldn't have gone, right, we look at it and we go, is it possible? Can we divide our time? Do we have enough support? Do we have enough? Like when we did the first season, she wasn't even 1. She wasn't in childcare yet. I don't know how we did that. I don't know. I think hey, Google, turn on the light. Let's go to duck. Bing. You should also watch my new stand-up special. I haven't filmed it yet, but I will. I've got an entire 8-minute material about the fights that happened in the house to set up Hey Google. I really have a lot of issues with this bitch. Anyway, but I don't know. I just think you rely on support. I had a lot of friends. I've got a friend who lives up the road who has a kid who's a year older than mine. She was there. She was outside my house in her car being like, how are you? And I am just ready to do that for the next person in my life who has a baby. Because before it happens to you, you just don't know. Like you'd send a present and then you're like, okay, bye, thanks, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
Hope you're okay. Not knowing how much, I'm going to turn up with food or turn up with that. But, relying on our support network and I'm not going to, in this line of work as well, I don't know. I'm very grateful that I was still able to work, that I've come back, That was the other thing as well. I had a very hard, as I'm sure a lot of people do, 8 months. The first 8 months, I was like, I don't know who I am. This is too hard. I don't know what my life is going to look like from now. I just am so tired and that's all I know and that's all I see. And then at about 8 months, 10 months, I was like, it's just started turning a corner and stuff. But
yeah, you got to get through that tough time. It is a tough time when you first have the baby. Oh,
yeah.
But
you tell me things. How are you?
No, I'm boring.
You're not boring at all. What are you talking about? But I'm like, how do I get fit, Tiff? How do I manage a baby and be a champion fitness
It is just like doing whatever you can when you can. And I switch and change from like, I've got some time, so I'm going to go and do a little bit in the gym, or I literally run away from my family. Ed goes, go. You've got half an hour, and I run from them. And I just go for a half an hour run and have that freedom for half an hour, like it's just what you can do.
I'll be doing like 3 squats in the kitchen. Yeah. And I count that. I'm like, that counts.
It does count, Celia.
There's little 5-minute, strength things.
5-minute bursts, it all
Not even
counts.
5 minutes. Like if I'm on the floor with her, I'm like, I'll just do a glute bridge. Is that Edward Cavalier?
That's perfect. He's dancing in the corner.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
We interrupt this podcast to go live to Ed Cavalier. Hi, Seal.
Hello. Can I get some icy cold cans of Coke, please, Ed?
Yeah, and a Delta Goodrum CD coming
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. You guys having a nice time?
We're talking so much about you. I can't believe
Have you talked about the Dancing with the Stars?
We have.
Yes, we have. Not that much. I've missed it so much. I was so fit. I really miss it. I wish I could do 8 hours of dancing all day, every day as my job. That was our job.
Most dedicated.
I felt like an athlete.
You were an athlete. That's what I told Tiff. I said, when you talk to Celia, tell her that she was the most dedicated.
Do you remember when I did the backflip and the splits?
Yeah, that was ambitious. And yay.
Thanks, buddy. Anyway.
Right.
Celia, thank you so much for joining me today on Bounce Forward. I've had such a good time speaking to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll message you privately for advice on how to improve my fitness. Thank you. Oh, also, and thank you for yours you sent me, because I was like, mate, this is so good. Pregnancy workout clothes.
Oh,
the tights, which I'm gonna I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm still wearing them, even though I'm not pregnant anymore.
My God.
It's nice to have a bit of extra room.
I wore them for ages after I had the baby.
Great.
Oh, my God. Oh, Seals, thank you so much
Thanks,
for joining
Tiff.
me today. Thank you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_XO and let me know what topics and questions you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.